So as you guys know, we are three postdocs, and for those of you who don't know what a postdoc is, basically on paper, a postdoc is supposed to be like an early career researcher who focuses on building their record and getting small grants and doing independent research under a supervisor. But I would say in reality, a postdoc's more like the carrier of the team. So you're basically more skilled than a PhD student, but you don't have the same standing in the field as your supervisor. So you get stuck with like all the admin work and the project management, but you're still expected to like build your own track record and get grants and publish papers in your spare time. What do you guys think? Does that sound accurate? That sound like that's what we do?
Sounds about right. Sometimes people think postdoc is another degree, as in it's another qualification that you get after your PhD. But people do stay in this position for a very long time, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think it's that bad. I mean, I would say in Australia, the postdoc pay rate is like a lot higher than the States or other places. Like we get paid like a normal salary.
So is there postdoc in the States?
Yeah, there are. In other countries, but they get paid like nothing. It's like a bit higher than a PhD, I think.
Yeah, why consider the postdoc just a job that you like like entry level after the PhD? So you're an independent researcher now. Technically, but you're not really that independent. But postdoc normally is attached to a project, right? So you're doing a postdoc on a research project. So it's still like a time limit early research position.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But I find that like with postdocs, because usually there's like a supervisor and then under them is like a couple of postdocs and then under them are like a few PhDs. So you're like in the middle kind of rank. But like I am like hired through a project, but I really do a lot of work for a lot of other projects as well that my supervisor is doing. So, in Australia, I don't know about other countries, but postdocs is usually contract work. So postdoc can go anywhere from like 1 year to like 5 years. But usually I would say the average is more like 1 to 3 years.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen or witnessed beyond 3 years. I think the most common I've seen is probably 2 years.
I guess we should also explain that like there's two different kinds of funding you can get for a postdoc. So one is like your supervisor just hires you through a project because they have funding for a postdoc through that project. Or you can get your own funding through like a government grant or something, and then they can fund you to do your own project. So I guess like depending on which type of postdoc you are, like your responsibilities might vary, because if you have your own funding, you're less bound by what your supervisor wants you to do, I suppose.
Yeah. And also depends, I mean, it depends on what your supervisor is like. Because mine, he probably employed me on a particular project, but he couldn't care less. He just gets me to do whatever we're doing. And it's not timed. Like, you know, even if you plan a project and you get grant funding for it, it never goes according to the plan. So oftentimes the project won't get started for like a year or two. And in the meantime, you're still hired. So you're working on the lag of other projects or that kind of thing. So it all becomes a bit unclear